This tale tells us about a married couple whose romantic bond is filled with uncertainty. The boundaries of personal liberty get pushed so far that it takes them on a journey they can never come back from. On one side, we have Rosa, who has damaged their marriage by abusing her independence. On the other side stands James, who does everything possible to prevent his household from breaking apart, but ends up caught in circumstances that become harder and harder to escape. The narrative opens by showing us a gentleman called James riding his bicycle through woodland on his way back to his house. When he gets there, he notices his lovely spouse Rosa seated on the steps, looking at him with focus. James questions what troubles her, but Rosa only offers him a weak smile and goes to her bedroom without speaking. Later, James and Rosa leave their child Sophie with a caretaker as they get ready for a celebration. Rosa begins preparing for the night while James lovingly assists her with putting on her footwear. Watching this scene, it appears there is strong affection between them, but their relationship's truth is much more complex, something that will become clear soon. James and Rosa arrive at the celebration looking stylish. Many of their companions are already present, having fun. Everything appears normal until a young gentleman named Peter shows up. The moment Rosa spots Peter, she welcomes him warmly and immediately approaches him. James observes this, but remains quiet. Rosa then leads Peter away from the celebration to a private area where they start embracing passionately. James witnesses this entire situation from a window, but decides to leave without confronting them. He already knows about his spouse's affairs and has quietly tolerated them for quite some time. Later, James's companion Michelle speaks with him about it, asking why he continues holding on to his marriage when he knows everything. James responds peacefully that Rosa can do whatever she wishes in her existence and he has no complaints. He explains that while he could end this marriage, and she understands that, he loves her deeply and doesn't want to destroy their household. He believes that someday Rosa will recognize his devotion. After this conversation, James gets a beverage from the server and goes to a private chamber. Shortly afterward, Peter follows him there and says arrogantly that he wants to express gratitude for James's hospitality, noting how extraordinary it is that James doesn't get envious, seeing his wife with another man. James stays calm and responds by asking if Peter has heard of Martin, who vanished some time ago. Martin was Rosa's good companion, just like Peter, who used to follow her constantly until James got so angry that he eliminated him. Nobody has discovered his remains to this day. Peter becomes frightened by James's words and tries to compose himself, suggesting James must be joking. James replies mysteriously that it depends on how Peter chooses to interpret it. Scared, Peter quickly exits the chamber. Rosa notices him departing and tries to stop him, but Peter makes an excuse and rushes away from the celebration. On their way back, Rosa asks what James said to Peter that made him leave so suddenly. James lies, saying he didn't say anything that would cause Peter to depart. The following day, James takes his daughter to school and encounters a companion who jokingly asks if he has started eliminating people, since that's what all their friends are discussing. James laughs and explains that Peter must have spread this story after getting scared by what was meant as a harmless joke. When Rosa learns about James's conversation with Peter and how he tried to frighten him using Martin's name, she becomes furious. She confronts James angrily, saying he shouldn't have done that after already pushing Martin away, and now Peter too. James tries to explain it was just a joke, but Rosa refuses to accept his explanation and declares that tonight she's inviting Peter for dinner so James can apologize to him. Peter comes to their house for dinner, and after the meal, Rosa tells Sophie that her father will tell her a bedtime story. Rosa says this because she wants private time with Peter. James, fully aware of her intentions, doesn't protest. He takes Sophie to her room, tells her a story, and puts her to sleep early. Once Sophie is asleep, James comes downstairs and sees Rosa and Peter spending time together through a mirror reflection. James starts feeling envious, and in his frustration goes to the kitchen and deliberately breaks a dish. Hearing the sound, Rosa rushes to the kitchen and casually asks James to bring another beverage for Peter before returning to the other room. While handing the drink to Peter, Peter confronts James about the elimination joke, saying he should apologize. This time, James changes his tone and responds seriously that the elimination joke wasn't actually a joke. He really eliminated Martin by striking him on the head with a tool, and no amount of apologizing will bring him back. Hearing this, Peter becomes terrified and quickly leaves the house. The mystery of whether James was telling the truth about the elimination or just trying to frighten Peter again will be revealed soon. In the following scene, we see James and his household at another celebration with their companions and many other guests. At this party, James meets an author named Marcus, who is married to James's best companion, Karen. Marcus travels frequently for work. James and Marcus begin talking and quickly discuss personal topics. Marcus asks about James's work, and James replies that he's retired now, doing occasional work but mostly spending time cycling. Rosa, overhearing their conversation, adds something unexpected. She reveals that James actually developed a microprocessor that the military uses in their aircraft systems to help them strike targets with incredible accuracy. This revelation surprises everyone at the celebration. Until now, nobody had realized that James wasn't just a calm and composed gentleman, but also a brilliant engineer and wealthy, successful individual. However, despite all of James's accomplishments, the sad reality is that he lacks peace and happiness in his existence. After all, no amount of success or wealth can make a person truly rich without the loyalty and support of a devoted spouse. As the celebration continues, everyone seems to enjoy themselves. James even shares a light-hearted moment dancing with his best companion, Karen. But seeing James dance with Karen makes Rosa envious, which is ironic considering her own behavior. The narrative then moves to a scene from several days later where Sophie and her school companions are dancing together under their teacher's guidance. While watching the children play, James receives a call from his bank informing him that Rosa recently transferred $3,000 to another account under the name Charlie. Curious and concerned, James asks for more details and learns the money went to someone who performs live piano. After hearing this from the bank, James quickly pieces everything together. He realizes that Rosa has found a new boyfriend since Peter left her. Determined to learn more about this person, James starts searching for him. One evening, James goes to a restaurant where live piano sessions are held. As he enters, he spots Rosa sitting. In the following scene, we see a swimming party hosted at James's companion Robert's house. Rosa invites Charlie to the celebration as well. As soon as Charlie arrives, Rosa becomes attached to him, openly showing affection. She introduces him to everyone at the celebration, and Charlie starts performing piano. The guests, including Rosa, become excited and start dancing to his music. James, however, is visibly uncomfortable with everything, but keeps quiet despite his feelings. Later, Rosa introduces Charlie to James as her new companion. James, trying to maintain his composure, talks to Charlie briefly before walking away. That night, James searches for Rosa inside the house and spots her secretly leaving a room, making it clear what Rosa and Charlie had been doing inside. Later, James sees Rosa and Charlie in the swimming area, bathing and laughing together with other guests. But their behavior toward each other is far too intimate, making James's anger boil inside him. Yet again, he suppresses his feelings and remains silent. Suddenly, it begins raining heavily, and the guests all rush inside one by one. James is the last to enter the house. Inside, everyone gathers in the kitchen, preparing food and enjoying themselves. A little while later, Rosa steps out to look for Charlie. Moments later, her terrified scream echoes through the house. Everyone rushes outside to find Rosa standing by the swimming area, staring at Charlie's lifeless body floating in the water. Panicking, the guests pull Charlie out of the swimming area and try to revive him with emergency procedures. But their efforts are useless. Charlie is already deceased. The authorities arrive shortly after to investigate the incident. As the officers begin questioning everyone, Rosa, furious and emotional, accuses James of eliminating Charlie. The other guests intervene, trying to calm Rosa down. They tell the authorities that the relationship between James and Rosa hasn't been good lately, and she's just saying this in anger since James came inside with the rest of them when it started raining. He couldn't have done this. Since there's no evidence or witnesses against James, the authorities take him aside for questioning in another room. After a brief interrogation, they find no reason to hold him and let him go. But this incident drives an even deeper wedge between James and Rosa. Rosa becomes more distant, and the tension between them escalates. Several days later, we see James cycling alone. As he rides, memories of the night Charlie died flood his mind. It is revealed that James indeed eliminated Charlie by drowning him in the swimming area. Consumed by envy and anger, James had taken this extreme step. His thoughts spiral as he imagines what Rosa and Charlie might have been doing alone that night. He has cleverly eliminated Rosa's lovers one by one, ensuring nobody discovers his dark side. In the following scene, we see James dropping Sophie off at school. As he leaves, his companion Karen arrives and meets him. She hesitates at first, but eventually says she doesn't know if she should tell him this, but Rosa came to their house the other day. She and Karen's husband, Marcus, have hired a private investigator to follow James after Charlie's demise, because Rosa started suspecting him. James's expression remains calm, but it's clear he is furious inside. Later, he invites Marcus and Karen to dinner at his house. During the evening, he takes Marcus to another room where he keeps his collection of garden creatures. As they talk, James calmly, yet threateningly, tells him to stop letting Rosa manipulate him into putting investigators on James. Marcus was there that night. Does he really think James eliminated Charlie? Marcus doesn't give a direct answer, but his silence speaks volumes. James knows that Marcus isn't going to let this matter rest easily. Marcus is an author, and his interest in James's personal existence is more than just casual curiosity. He's fascinated by the drama and tension and sees this as the perfect opportunity to write a sensational crime narrative based on James's existence. The narrative moves forward, and one day James learns that Rosa has found another new boyfriend, Tony, a college companion of hers. James starts noticing that they are spending more time together and growing closer. One day, Tony comes over to their house to meet Rosa, while James is home as well. They all sit down for dinner together, but James can't stop observing Tony and Rosa's behavior. After dinner, Tony seizes an opportunity and sneaks into Rosa's room, where they start getting romantic. James, as usual, is secretly watching everything. This time, however, Rosa catches James watching them, creating an awkward, intense moment between them. The following day, James follows Tony in his vehicle. James drives up to Tony and casually says that Rosa has been trying to reach him and might have something important to discuss. He offers to give Tony a ride. Tony, unsuspecting, gets into James's vehicle, but instead of taking him to Rosa, James drives to a secluded area deep in the woodland where nobody else is around. Once they arrive, Tony steps out and asks what they're doing there. Without responding, James picks up a rock and strikes Tony on the head. Before Tony can react or defend himself, James grabs a larger stone and hits him again. Tony loses his balance, stumbles into a ditch, and dies instantly. James climbs down into the ditch to ensure Tony is truly deceased. After confirming this, he ties heavy stones to Tony's body. While doing this, James finds Tony's wallet, which he keeps. He drags Tony's body to the river, submerges it, and ensures it sinks out of sight. Satisfied that nobody will find the body, James leaves the area. The following morning, Rosa and Sophie are preparing for an outdoor meal when James comes back. Rosa asks if he would like to join them. James agrees, pretending to be excited, and asks where they're headed. Sophie enthusiastically replies they're going to the woodland side nearby. James's heart skips a beat. This is the same woodland where he disposed of Tony's body. In the following scene, we see James, Rosa, and Sophie at the woodland picnic spot. Rosa, unaware of James's turmoil, seems genuinely happy and engages him in conversation. She asks why he still wants to stay with her when one after another people are leaving her, yet he remains. James, staying composed, replies romantically that he doesn't know why, but all he wants is to spend his entire existence with her. They grow closer, sharing a brief moment of intimacy. Just then, Sophie calls out to James, asking him to come over. James hurries to her. Sophie points toward the riverbank, saying the animal isn't moving away from that spot. James follows her gaze and freezes. To his horror, he notices that Tony's body, which he had carefully hidden, is now partially visible above the water. Anyone passing by could see it. Thinking quickly, James comes up with an excuse to leave. As they are about to depart, Rosa says she forgot her scarf over there. James, feeling the pressure building, replies not to worry about it. He'll come back tomorrow and bring her something even better as a gift. That evening, when James gets back, he casually asks Rosa if Tony called her today. Rosa replies nonchalantly that Tony hasn't been in touch for 2 days. Maybe he's left just like the others. Then unexpectedly, Rosa moves closer to James, wraps her arms around him, and whispers, asking if he'll stay in her room tonight. James agrees, and they both end up in Rosa's room, where their emotions take over, and they share an intimate night together. The following morning, James sets out early, taking his bicycle back to the woodland location where Tony's body is hidden. Upon reaching the spot, he carefully works to push Tony's body deeper into the water using a stick, ensuring it is completely submerged and undetectable. Meanwhile, back at their house, Rosa decides to clean James's garden creature room. As she rummages through the room, her eyes fall on something odd: Tony's wallet. She freezes for a moment, picking it up and realizing what this means. It becomes clear to her that James has eliminated Tony just like the others. On the other hand, as James struggles to fully submerge Tony's body, he is startled by the sound of footsteps behind him. Turning around, he sees Marcus standing there asking what he's doing. James panics, trying to come up with an excuse, but Marcus senses something is wrong. He steps forward, his gaze falling on Tony's body, floating partially in the water. Without saying another word, Marcus bolts back to his vehicle, jumps in, and drives off as fast as he can. Realizing that Marcus is going to report him to the authorities, James immediately grabs his bicycle and begins chasing Marcus. Though Marcus is driving, James takes a shortcut through the woodland to intercept him. As Marcus speeds along the winding road, he doesn't see James emerge suddenly from the woodland. Losing control of the vehicle, Marcus's automobile plunges down a steep slope and into the river. The impact is fatal and Marcus dies instantly. At the same time, Rosa has made up her mind. After discovering Tony's wallet and piecing everything together, she decides it's time to leave James for good. She begins packing her belongings and prepares to take Sophie with her. But Sophie, in a fit of defiance, drags the packed luggage to the swimming area and throws it in. Shocked, Rosa demands to know what Sophie is doing. Sophie says they're not leaving their father. He needs them. Hearing this, Rosa realizes that leaving James would shatter their household completely, and in some way, she feels responsible for the chaos that is unfolded. To protect James further, she takes Tony's wallet and burns it, ensuring it cannot be used as evidence. The narrative comes full circle, returning to the opening scene where James cycles back through the woodland. Rosa is sitting quietly, watching him. As James approaches, he notices her contemplative expression and asks what's wrong. Rosa gives him a faint smile, but doesn't say anything. This narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the delicate balance between independence and responsibility. We hope you enjoyed this tale, and we'll see you next time with another fascinating story.